What is the difference between instance and example?
Instance and example are similar in that they both refer to a specific occurrence or case of something, but they are typically used in different contexts. Instance generally refers to a single occurrence or example of an event, situation, or behavior. In object-oriented programming, instance refers to a specific object created from a class, which is a blueprint for the object. Example usually refers to a representative or typical case used to illustrate or explain a concept, rule, or principle. An example can also serve as a model for imitation or as a counterexample that demonstrates what should not be done. In some cases, instance and example can be used interchangeably, but the context usually helps determine which word is more appropriate.
Gives 4 examples for each case.
Here are 4 examples for each case. Instance: in the instance of a power outage, the backup generator will turn on automatically. There was an instance when she forgot her keys at home and had to call a locksmith. An instance of a car accident occurred at the intersection due to the traffic light malfunctioning. One instance of kindness was when a stranger helped the elderly lady cross the street. Example: illustrating or explaining a concept. As an example of a renewable energy source, solar power converts sunlight into electricity. To give an example of an alliteration, the sentence, "Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers," uses the repetition of the P sound. The classic example of symbiosis is the relationship between clownfish and sea anemones, where they mutually benefit from each other. The civil rights movement in the United States, led by figures such as Martin Luther King Jr., is an example of nonviolent protest against racial discrimination. Example: model for imitation or counterexample. Mother Teresa as an example of selflessness and dedication to serving the less fortunate. Steve Jobs, the co-founder of Apple, is often cited as an example of an innovative and visionary leader. The Titanic serves as an example of the dangers of overconfidence and the importance of safety measures. The collapse of Enron is a counterexample that highlights the consequences of unethical business practices and corporate greed.
And what is the difference between, for example, and, for instance?
For example, and, for instance, are both used to introduce a specific case or illustration of a broader concept, idea, or category. They can be used interchangeably in most situations, and the choice between them is often a matter of personal preference or style. Here are examples of how they can be used in sentences. There are many ways to exercise. For example, you can go for a walk, swim, or attend a yoga class. There are many ways to exercise. For instance, you can go for a walk, swim, or attend a yoga class. In both sentences, for example, and, for instance, are used to provide specific illustrations of the general concept of exercising. Both phrases serve the same purpose and can be used interchangeably without changing the meaning of the sentence.